Hi everyone, welcome to Fresh Talks. Manuela Sena here. I run the immigration department at Fresh Portugal, and today with me I have my dear colleague Henrique Faria, senior tax lawyer, and he will be explaining to us a little bit about US LLCs and the treatment here in Portugal. Hi Henrique, welcome to Fresh Talks. Let's start by talking about US LLCs. And I would like to start by asking you if you could please explain us what is the main difference of the treatment between a US LLC in the US and here in Portugal. How is it treated?
Okay, good question, Manuela. Uh, a US LLC in the US generally is treated as a pass-through entity, like a transparent entity. Here in Portugal, we had two amazing binding decisions. The first one dated from 2016, and the last one last year, December 2024, where the Portuguese tax authority decided that a US LLC could be an opaque entity here in Portugal, meaning not transparent, not pass-through. If you don't have a single member LLC, meaning a multi-member, a partnership LLC, and the management it's outside Portugal. So you can play with this structure to get a good tax advantage here in Portugal.
Okay, amazing. And is there any type of US LLC that would be more attractive?
Yes, so like US LLC can be classified, for example, S Corp, C Corps, and here in Portugal, regarding these two decisions, this understanding of the tax authority, uh, Portugal has its own pass-through entity. For example, when you have professional activities, if two lawyers, two accountants joined to provide a professional activity for Portuguese tax status, this is a pass-through. Or if you just hold assets, for example, if you have a US LLC holding a real estate property, or if you have a US LLC holding stocks, this is going to be considered pass-through entities here in Portugal. So what the decisions brought to us was you should have a partnership, multi-member LLC, and the management outside Portugal. Clients, they came to Portugal with S Corps, for example. That's coming back to your questions. S Corp is a very attractive form in the US because part of the salary amount, the W-2, can have special US tax benefits. But here in Portugal, if you come with an S Corp, you have part of your income as a salary, W-2, and part as dividends distribution. And here in Portugal, if you work inside Portugal, within Portuguese territory, even though your employer is outside Portugal, if you render the service here, this is a Portuguese source of income. So there is a lot of compliance to have international salary working here in Portugal. For instance, you must register the international entity with like a corporate NIF here in Portugal, or use a payroll like an employment of record. That's why these companies exist, because since it's it's a Portuguese sourced income, you must pay personal income taxation and social security to Portugal. So S Corp, it's not a good nature of LLC here in Portugal.
And Henrique, how could you optimize NHR and in US LLC?
Good question. So the NHR, the last version or this new version called NHR 2.0, that's the Portuguese name is IFICE, provides tax benefit when you have foreign earned income. So if you structure your LLC correctly, again, meaning multi-member LLC, management outside Portugal, you can report your income from a US LLC as passive income here in Portugal when you file your Portuguese tax return. Meaning passive income coming from outside Portugal generally is going to face a 28% tax rate here in Portugal. But regarding your question, if you can use the NHR, this is going to be tax exempt during your 10 years benefit. So the last version of the NHR or this new version called EFICI also provide this 10 years exemption if you report correctly your passive income coming from a US LLC.
Okay, great. And Henrique, what would be the risks of having this LLC structure in the Portuguese tax authority standpoint?
Good question, Manuela. So a lot of clients, especially from the US, come to Portugal with a single member US LLC. And they have their residence visa, they are taxpayers with or without NHR, and they are living in Portugal, reporting the income coming from a single member US LLC. This can face several risks here in Portugal because a single member LLC, you are managing the company, you are the single owner of an international structure living here in Portugal. So it's very it's not a good structure to have here in Portugal, since the Portuguese tax authority provide the decisions that you must have a multi-member structure and the management outside Portugal. So you could be creating a permanent establishment of an international structure here in Portugal. So if you get audited, this is going to be a very gray area, shady area. So you could face, the tax authority can deem this international structure as a Portuguese one, or you can face not a passive income, but active income coming from here, Portugal. So it's a terrible outcome to come to Portugal with a single member LLC. So that's why we suggest our clients to be as close as the binding decisions from the Portuguese tax authority. Again, meaning multi-member LLC, management outside Portugal. You should have always a good narrative why you incorporated a structure outside Portugal and not in Portugal. So that's how we help our clients to correctly structure and how to have this narrative if you get audited in the future.
And Henrique, what would be the requirements to have an US LLC? Does the applicant needs to be a US resident, citizen? How does it work?
Good question. You don't need to be US citizen to set up your US LLC. We have several clients from Europe or from the US with this structure. If you are a US citizen, of course, you're going to be taxed forever. So you're going to you need to report this structure and pay your taxes in the US. Of course, a non-US citizen also need to report, but don't pay taxes in the US. Only if you have a US trade of business, but this is a separate discussion. The good thing about the US citizens having the US structure, because they always need to pay US taxation, they can do some tax planning to use the earning foreign exclusion. Okay, so since they are here in Portugal, they can use up to the limit of the US foreign earn exclusion to exclude this income from the US taxation. So it's also a good tax planning for US citizens, but you don't need to be US citizen or American to have the US structure.
And Henrique, about the management outside of Portugal, how does it work? Could you please elaborate this part for us?
Sure. It's very important to understand that you living in Portugal with your residency card, you cannot have powers to bind to run your company, your US LLC from Portugal. Again, you could face, if you get audited, permanent establishment rules here in Portugal by the tax authority. So the good thing is, have a professional director outside Portugal, professional company running your US LLCs, your US LLC. We have a lot of questions about our clients. Oh, can I put my family member to be the director, to manage my US LLC? And the question is yes and no. Like this old-fashioned nominee directors, it's outdated. So your family member, your cousin in the US, if of course he's a C-level, a professional who has skills enough to run the business, yes, sure. Doesn't matter if he's your relative or not. but family member, friends, they don't have the capacity, the skills to run a business. We don't suggest that. That's why we encourage our clients to have professional activity. Here at Fresh, we have the Fresh Ops experts in the UK who can help you to run your business and to create this management outside Portugal, these very important requirements to make your Portuguese, to the Portuguese tax authority, fits what they understand by decision, and for you to have the most of the tax benefit here in the Portugal when you report passive income coming from a US LLC, to have the 28% flat tax rate or the tax exemption if you use your NHR, the old version or the new version. And again, if you want to apply for the new version of the NHR, the NHR 2.0, it's not as easy as the previous NHR, but it's feasible. We can help our clients to find the best avenue to achieve the NHR and get during the 10 years the tax exemption using the LLC or other foreign earned passive income.
Henrique, thank you so much for all the clarifications. And for everyone watching us, if you're interested in our content, follow us and subscribe.
Thank you.
Bye.